Hey, Hickok 45 here. You guys been asking me to do a cap and ball revolver video for a long time. I put you off. I put you off last summer, and then this fall I kept telling you I would do one. I would get to it, hopefully before winter. I didn't, and I've been telling you this winter I'll do one in the spring. Well, here we are. Pretty nice weekend, about 60 degrees, and I thought, well, why not? I'll get them out, and we'll shoot some cap and ball revolvers. So anyway, today I have the Remington 1858 model, popular gun during the Civil War in that era, and I have it loaded and ready to go. Got my bear grease on there in front of the chambers. I've got the nipples capped, and it's ready to fire. So it's a 44. It shoots a 451 or a 454 size ball, so it's actually a 45, you know, you get right down to it. But it's a Remington 1858 44. I'm going to take a shot here. We put up a paper target just to see if we could blacken it up a little bit. I've never shot paper with a cap and ball revolver, and I thought it might be interesting just to see what happens. So let me try a shot right here first. See if it blackens it up or throws residue. Let's get a little closer. Woo. Yeah, a little bit there. I didn't aim, but let's try some steel. Let's try that swinging plate there. Ooh, it's pretty hard. Yeah. Talk about history. Smells like history, looks like history. Notice how blackened that old cylinder got. Yeah, that's soot. This is real black powder now. That's the only kind I use. I don't use substitutes. If I'm going to play in this stuff, I'm going to really play in it. And it is messy, no doubt about that. I've been messing with it here a little bit. Look at my hands. But that's what it's all about. That's what makes it fun. You can't get that with a Glock. So this is the 1858. This was, again, a popular gun during the Civil War era. This and the 1860 Army were probably a couple of the more commonly used, found revolvers. There were others, and there were different variations of them. But this is one of the 44s that was so popular, along with the 1860 Army. The 1860 Army was issued to Union troops, and I don't know if to every troop, but to a lot of them. It ended up in the hands of course, everybody, Southern troops and all sorts of folks. This one I don't think was issued as much. It was more desirable in a lot of ways. It was more expensive, as I understand. And it was stronger. You have the top strap on this one, just like you have on the Colt single action. And it was stronger. It little less problematic. You could also, is more reliable. You could also take the cylinder out much more easily, like with the Colt single action Army of 1873. And you could carry 2 or 3 of these, well, you carry a pocket full, I guess, of these cylinders preloaded. And in battle, all you had to do was change the cylinder out, and you know, you're still in the fight. Whereas with the others, it's just much more of a problem, believe me. We just wrestled with one for a while. So let me confess, we were going to make a video with the 1860 Army I have, and do it first. And oh, I mean to tell you, I won't even go into the issues. So I can sympathize with the soldiers and with anybody that was trying to get his hands on one of these, because it's a little less problematic. Okay, you got to love these things in order to mess with them. Before I reload, I'm going to start reloading it here in a minute. Powder measures, usually they're brass. That's one that's often used with a rifle as well, because it goes up to about 100, 110 grains. You just pour the powder in there, after you've adjusted what you want, then you just pour it down the muzzle. This is more for a pistol revolver measure, and it's kind of nifty. You'll see how it works here in a minute, because it has a 30 grain, excuse me, 30 grain spout on it. And caps, you have to have fire. So these are number 11 caps. We'll put on the nipples, and 44 caliber balls. These are 451. It's been my discovery here that the Remington takes a slightly smaller ball than the Colt. The Colt wants a 454 ball, and this one likes a 451 thousandths in a ball. So especially after it's been fired once and gotten a little dirty. So we had a little experience with that earlier too. So that's why I've been a little reluctant to do one of these. It really becomes a bit of a a project if you don't do it regularly. You know me, I'm a jack of all trades. I like all sorts of guns, but I don't mess with these enough to be an expert in them. I know just enough to be dangerous and have a little fun with them. So let's go about the reloading of it. Let me show you what happens. All right. Messy, 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 but that's okay. I'm going to leave the cylinder in. This gun is nice that the cylinder comes out because you can take it out and load it that way with a ball starter and different things you might use on a rifle. But I'm going to leave it in just so you get an idea how this ramrod works and everything. Okay. Many of you maybe have seen these guns in movies because I know the YouTube audience is widely varied. I have everybody from 12-year-olds to people my age who are very experienced that send me messages and watch the videos. So but I want to make them educational. So at the risk of boring people that know all about this stuff, these guns, when I was young, I used to see one in a movie occasionally, and I thought, wow, that is neat. I didn't even know what this was under the barrel. I just thought it was really cool. It made the gun look different, and I don't know, it just was cool looking. I didn't even know what it was, and I liked them. And especially when I saw one actually take that down one time in a movie, I thought, oh, how cool! It's got some tool on it, right there on the handgun. Well, now I know what they are, of course, and sometimes I wish I didn't. They're kind of rough to mess with sometimes. So here's how it works. You basically have a muzzleloader, don't you, in a cap and ball, but you have 6 shots. So you got to get the powder in first. You don't have a bored through cylinder like you have in this Colt. I'll move it over here and show you. In a cartridge gun that came along and well later, you have the Colt specifically in 1873. You've got those big holes the cylinder is bored through, so you can slide a case or a cartridge right in there. You have cock it. You know how that works. That's what does all the work. That case, it has the primer, which is your cap, it has powder in it, and it has, of course, the bullet. So that's a little easier. Boy, that's like high tech compared with this baby. So with this, we've got to put powder in first, then a ball on top, and then we put a cap, on that nipple, and then it's ready to go. A little grease on it too. So let me show you how it works. This is an interesting little measure. I open the powder. This little lever opens the powder, lets it into the spout. Okay, 30 grains are in that spout right now, so I let go of the lever, and that traps it in there. So now I have 30 grains there. Pretty cool, huh? So let's charge one of the chambers. All right. So now that chamber has 30 grains of powder in it. All right. You really can't get too much powder in there. As long as you leave room for the ball, it's okay. And as long as the ball is seated down on top of the powder with black powder, you're in good shape. Okay. There's 2 of them charged. Okay, this will be 3. Now since we're on the range, I'm going to go ahead and load 6. And so I can shoot 6. This will be the only 6 we'll shoot probably. So we'll get them all charged up. That was 4, right? Yeah. I can see the powder, so I can eyeball it, make sure I'm doing it right. One more. So this, if you shoot one of these, you're basically a hand loader, aren't you? You don't have to have a press and all the equipment like hand loaders have. You can get one of these and then just the powder and a few accoutrements here, and you're a hand loader. You can decide how much powder you want to shoot. You could put 10 grains of powder in there if you wanted to, just for kicks. If you had some, a child or somebody you wanted to let shoot the gun, of course they don't kick that badly. So now every chamber is charged with the powder, and we got to get a ball in there somehow. This is the cool part. Just lay it right there, and spin him around. Open the lever down, put it down there. All right, then push the ball down in there against the powder. All right. Now bring it around, put the next one in. Now that works. Pretty neat, huh? So I'm a hand loader. I got my press right here on my gun. The 3rd one in. Wouldn't want to do this on horseback, would you? People shooting at you. Might not be easy to do. That's why the cavalry would try to stuff as many of these loaded pistols in their belts. You see pictures or in the movies, they're carrying 2, 4, 6 revolvers, maybe 8, as many as they can pack along, preloaded, so they're ready to go. All right, so you can see in there, the balls in each chamber. All right. Now to prevent a chain fire, as it's called, if we were to cap this and fire, it could, I've never seen it happen, it's never happened to me, but it could, the fire, this is such a, black powder, so hot, it could jump over and cause one of these other chambers to go off, maybe 2 or 3 of them. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? You're firing at something and all of a sudden bullets are coming out down here and going out and ricocheting. That would not be a pleasant experience. So what we do is we use some grease. You can use Crisco or almost anything, but we seal the chamber. It also provides lube for the bullet going out. Now some people, I had these out to show you, you can get these little wads, these are Wonder Wads I think they're called, but you can put these between the powder and the ball if you want to, and that's kind of a modern invention. I don't think anybody did that back in the day. I don't know, they might have, but this is more of a modern invention, I think, and it avoids your having to do this. But this is fun, right? You're all dirty and messy in this endeavor anyway, so you just got to smear that stuff in there. Like I say, I know back in the 70s, people would use Crisco or just whatever. Now you can buy some of these different kinds of lubes. This is Wonder Lube 1000 Plus, it's called. I've had this for probably 15, 20 years. I don't get these out very often. You might guess why. I like black powder. I like muzzle loaders. I really do, because I enjoy the history of them and I enjoy shooting them occasionally. I just don't do it very often. And I have to be in the mood. That's why I kept putting people off on this particular endeavor. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll get to that. Right away. Well, I have to be in the mood. Okay. Now another thing you notice with these things, there's a cap I noticed in there. When those fire, they sometimes, a piece of it will get stuck in there. There's all kinds of things that can foul these guns up and cause it to misfire. There's another piece of one. So, all right, I think we're all clear there. Got her all lubed up. Isn't that pretty? See? Those of you who don't like to get your hands dirty and you don't even like the residue from shooting a modern gun getting on your gun, yeah, you better think again before you get into this. This is why I always laugh when people talk or argue about modern powders and they're looking for a powder for their 9mm or their 45 ACP. They want a cleaner burning powder, because their gun gets a little too dirty with the powder they're using. So try this. Okay. All right, we're ready to go now. We just need to get some fire on this baby. See, now it has bullets, or balls and powder in it right now, but it's pretty safe. I could pull that hammer and fire I could do that all day long. I don't think it would fire under any circumstances. It needs a primer. So we are ready to put the caps on. And again, I loaded 6 because we're on the shooting range here. And with this particular gun, as I understand, you could load 6 more safely because it has a little notch there between the nipples, as you see, and the hammer can rest right there, so that if you dropped it or fell off your horse, then it wouldn't necessarily fire. Now they make a little capper for this, a little tool. If I shot this gun more often, which is not likely to happen, I would have one of those. Again, look at my hands. If a little dirt bothers you, you don't want to get into this. Like I said, I really like these guns. I just don't like to shoot them that often. Got to really be in the mood. It seems that mood only strikes me about once every 2 or 3 years. All right. Again, this is the 1858 Remington. It really was considered I think the best of the cap and ball revolvers of the day. The cylinder came out pretty easily. It does seem solid. It feels more like a Colt single action in terms of the way it operates. Okay, and it's not a beautiful gun, I think, like the 1860 Army, the Colt, but it's not bad looking. And like Glock or any of the modern guns, sometimes the beauty's in the function. If something works really well, it's beautiful, right? Okay, we're hot. We're ready to go. Take a couple shots here. I'm not sure what I want to shoot. I might walk down there and shoot one of those jugs. Let's see. If I can hit anything with it. All right, killed him. All right, got 3 shots left. I think we ought to go for the gong. Well, this might be an exercise in futility. Oh, let's see. I wonder where to hold. I'll take that. Not bad. Let's kill a buffalo. No, let's get a cowboy. He's a bad guy, I can tell. And that should be it. 6 shots. Nice. You see how dirty that baby is now? We'll move back up here to the shooting table. This gun is it's kind of fun. I probably ought to get it out more often. It seems to work okay, and much easier to operate than the old Colt 1860. I have to say, we had a little problem with it earlier. We were going to do a video with it, and just about pulled out what hair I have. But you can see it gets all cruddy. What you do, you can take a pipe cleaner. Like while you're out here shooting or you're enjoying one of these things, you don't have to, hose it down, because once you get it all wet, you got to get it dry again. And you can't oil it up very well, because again, it's got to be dry to fire, to put the powder in and to put a cap on to get it to work. So what I'll do is take a pipe cleaner, occasionally maybe just run into the nipples and that sort of thing. This little pick here is good. If it really gets filthy, you can make sure the nipples are clear, the pathway to ignite the powder. Any other part of it that doesn't, where the powder doesn't touch and the caps don't go on, you can spray it down with oil or anything you want to, lubricant, and it'll do okay. Let me see if I can get the cylinder out. I don't think I did that yet to show you. You just pull the plunger down. I think you have to half cock it, and then try to get the, there we go, it's getting kind of stiff on me. That's what happens. After you fire them a few times, they really get stiff. And plus it's hot. See if it'll, yeah, it doesn't want to come out. We might, well, we won't, there we go. Okay, there we go. So that's been fired 12 times. And that's one of the characteristics of a cap and ball revolver. I've noticed with most of the ones I have fired, after 12 shots, that's when you start getting really tight fits on things, and it's hard for it to operate as well. But clean it up a little bit, and she's ready to go again. I would, if I were going to shoot it some more, I would take some oil and just wipe that down some, and get that back in there and just shoot it some more. It is better if you get your fill while you have it dirty like this, because whether you fire 6 or you fire 36, you have the same cleanup, for whatever you've done. But the Remington is definitely easier to work with. I will vote for that any day. And they're kind of interesting. They're fun, if you don't mind the mess. There, got him back in. And we could load it and shoot it again, but we won't do it right now. Big old gun, but that's what they did. That's what they had to deal with up until about the late 1860s, and certainly in 1873 when the Colt single action came around. But now Smith & Wesson had cartridge guns before Colt did by I think a couple 3 years. But basically through the 1860s, this is and before that, this is what you had to deal with. But at the time, that was like a Glock to have 6 shots. In the I guess it was in the 40s when the first revolver came about. Sam Colt's, the Patterson, I think it was. It held 5, but then after that they held 6. That was high capacity. So we think of it as old, antique, messy, and everything. But at that time, that was just like when high capacity, guns came about for them. So anyway, that's the cap and ball era. I don't have anything else to lie to you about here, except they're kind of fun. They're very messy, very historic, have lots of character. And if that looks like something you'd want to try, they're not all that expensive. You can get powder, get everything you need without investing too much money. And you can spend all afternoon and maybe just shoot you know, who knows, $5 worth of ammo. So lots of fun if you're willing to pay the price and have hands like those. So Hickok 45, dirty Hickok 45, signing off. Life is good.